a very interesting thing in 2021, when she suddenly started consulting me on elections and uh, on perceptions,
Hmm.
just before the 2021 elections, all of a
Assembly
sudden,
elections.
because my thing was that I had been the chief electoral officer who conducted two parliament elections in Bengal.
Right.
So she asked me, the neutral person, and I said that your image has to go through change. But from what I hear from my junior colleagues, they had a miserable time, because she personalized every issue. BJP under Suvendu Adhikari, who has just been declared as
Yes,
the
as
chief
the
minister,
chief minister.
will be on aggression mode. With somebody else, like let us say Samik Bhattacharya, would be on reasonable mode. BJP headquarters, the central government and others have chosen somebody who will be able to push their agenda like Hemanta Biswa Sarma.
Yes, yes, exactly. You know, the Bengali counterpart of Hemanta Biswa Sarma
Biswa
and
Sarma.
Yogi Adityanath. Hello and welcome to the Federal. You're watching our special program Off the Beaten Track, in which we take a deep dive into a particular issue. Now, everybody knows that out of the recent assembly elections in four states and one union territory, the most startling or the unexpected one has come from West Bengal. I do not want to talk about or discuss or analyze the electoral result, but I am actually going to be talking about what impact will this verdict and the new government and its politics have on the social fabric of West Bengal. Talking to me on this particular issue, which I think is extremely crucial, is Mr. Jawahar Sarkar, who spent a lifetime in the civil services, was a member of the Indian Administrative Service. The last position held was the chairperson of the Prasar Bharati board. Welcome to this program, Jawahar Babu. You have also been a Rajya Sabha member with the Trinamool Congress, but I do not want to be discussing that really. That is not really the matter, because we have spoken about that in the past and you have also said a lot of things. What I want to get at is that we have a two-third majority by the BJP in West Bengal. This is considered by many as to representing a historic shift in the state's political and social landscape, and that it will have far reaching implications on the state's politics and society. To what extent do you agree with this formulation, and what do you think will be the impact on society and the general nature of the public and the social discourse?
Well, right now there is jubilation in all circles, excepting among the core left liberals. There's jubilation everywhere. In fact, the left liberals are a bit stunned as to how it all happened. Left and liberals, because they don't always agree.
And what
But
about the minorities?
and terror among the minorities. Terror among the minorities. So that explains. Now, this one runs against the grain of the culture of Bengal. And when I mean culture, I don't mean the social culture, I mean even the political culture of Bengal.
Mhm.
It has always been a little towards the left through all regimes, whether they like it or not. And we have had, as we say, 49 years of left rule, 34 years of which were by the left front government and the remaining by Mamata's government. Populist,
Okay.
bottom heavy left rule. Now, the BJP is known to be following a dual policy. That means it has its own populist schemes aimed at the bottom layers,
Mhm.
and many of them have been quite successful. But they also have a penchant for working for big capital.
Mhm.
Now, Bengal is looking upon this as a very interesting development. We have not had any big industry here after
Mhm.
Haldia Petrochemicals.
That's
And
right.
Haldia Petrochemicals was also done practically by force and by grit by the state government, the leftist government.
Mm.
And before Haldia Chemicals, the biggest one we had was Durgapur steel plant.
Right.
So in a way, the core industries seem to have either withered away or shut down. That is one. Number two, the BJP's friendship, alliance, support, whatever it is for big capital, if they could persuade some with locational advantages to move to Bengal. I'll give you examples later. Now, so that is one thing people are hoping for, which is why a solid 6%, 6.5% swung the whole thing in favor of the BJP.
That's right.
The BJP had, as you know, clambered up to
38%.
44, 38. No, it got
And
past 40 also.
45% now. Now
Now, having said
45%.
having said that, so much of it is disgust against Mamata's regime and corruption and all others.
Gundagadi,
Uh, Gundagandi,
violence,
violence, which, if you recall,
extortion.
were the reasons that prompted me to give up my so-called MPship.
That's
Because
right.
it was an early warning to Mamata Banerjee that please take care of your house or you are in a terrible soup.
Situation.
Unfortunately, as happens in all political parties, and here I underline all political parties, is that the inner circle, whether you call them the Praetorian Guard, whether you call them whatever you want, try to guard Caesar and try to withhold information from Caesar. It happened
Mhm.
a lot in the TMC, which has lesser ideology than, let us say, the left or the right. And then school went on telling her that everything's all right. Jawhar is talking a lot of nonsense.
Mm.
Okay, now let's move on. So the one of the reasons was this vote for which we had started warning,
Mm.
the anti-incumbency vote, which she couldn't sort of take on. A very interesting thing in 2021, when she suddenly started consulting me on elections and uh, on perceptions,
Mm.
just before the 2021 elections, all of a
Assembly
sudden,
elections.
because my thing was that I had been the chief electoral officer who conducted two parliament elections in Bengal. So
Right.
she asked me, the neutral person, and I said that your image has to go through a change. And you'll
Mm.
be surprised if you go back to the web and internet and check up that in
Mm.
21, she went for about 4 months screaming at her own party saying, return cut money. Return
Mm.
cut money. That means admitting that they have taken cut money and they started returning and
Right.
repenting before the public. Okay. This time there was no such thing. They were confident that they'll get through. Now, why the people voted also, I will not get into because too many analyses have been made. What
Mm.
the people expect is more interesting. As I said, start with industry.
Mm.
No industries
That
in
is
the
going to be
horizon.
industry so that it can
Uh,
generate jobs.
so that it can generate jobs, number one. Number two, 49 years ago, when I was 2 years in the service,
Mm.
I'm talking 1977, when we
Seven.
conducted Indira Gandhi's post-emergency election. That is 49 years ago, I was assistant returning officer for Bardhaman.
Mm.
49 years ago, we saw the last government in Calcutta and Delhi shaking hands. And then the left came in June 1977. And since then, for 49, almost 50 years, the two governments have been at loggerheads. Imagine the
Would,
condition of people,
would
loggerheads.
you
The left,
also say that Bengalis, as a people of Bengal, took
uh,
pride in the fact that they were in the opposition to the center?
yes, 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 yes. That non-conformism is something like that, is something they cherish. The standards and the ideology of the party at the center did not meet the high expectations of
Right.
the intellectuals of Bengal, etc., etc. So these were also there. But must remember, government is not slogans and government is not posturing. Government is
Sloganism.
a lot of hard work, and much of it
We
was
have
to
lost
paid
it.
uh, much of it was to paid civil servants. we had to maneuver, negotiate between the center and the states. And that became a very tough job. The Bengalis took some amount of pride in being different and being viewed differently. And they felt that the ideology of the central government, whether it be Congress or Janta or mixed up, and whether the BJP and then again the UPA, none of them met the expectations of the high expectations of the the informed elite of Calcutta and Bengal,
Maybe
or the
even the
party.
people of Bengal, not just the
Not,
elite.
not the people. The people weren't so fussy. They were taught to be fussy.
Okay.
They were involved in all this, and people like us who had to negotiate between the state and the center, had a really tough time. I mean, I remember the entire left front regime when we had a very tough time. But I must say, to the credit of Mr. Jyoti Basu and Mr. Buddhadev Bhattacharya,
Hmm.
both realized our predicament, because I was again jumping off from the state and taking central deputation, which
Okay.
the bureaucracy opposed, saying, no, no, we can't let him go. And the CM intervened to say, let him go. He'll be an asset with us in Delhi, that sort of thing. So the
Carry the
left
voice
was,
to center.
the left had taken a much more sensible view. Though among the hardcore left, everybody thought I was a central agent. That was branded. I'm talking to personal terms because I was one of the few who kept hopping from center to state, state to center. Others
Okay.
stuck to only one government. Okay. Now, having said that, the remaining years with the Mamata government, I wasn't there. I mean, by the time Mamata
Yes,
came
you
in,
were in center.
I was in the center. But from what I hear from my junior colleagues, they had a miserable time, because she personalized every issue. Every
Hmm.
issue was personalized. They were, and the bureaucracy is a little impersonal about things, yes, minister style.
Hmm.
And she would not take any of this. And she personalized every issue, and any secretary who took the initiative to bridge a particular thing with the center would be pulled up as somebody who had betrayed her cause, whatever that meant. A very juvenile way of running government, but then that is what it was. So coming back to today,
Hmm.
after 49 years, we get the same government in the state and center. Okay. This is much before double engine and other names had come up.
Yes.
So there's a lot of hope that things will pass smoothly, because the government in this state will demand from the civil servants that I have spoken to that minister, you go tomorrow morning and get it cleared. So,
Hmm.
relationships, small log jams and others, these should be cleared, and this should move much faster. And due grants, which were sort of pinched and kept back.
Hmm.
See, as a bureaucrat, I know which is a veritable objection and which is a pinch there.
Right.
मंत्री ने बोल दिया कि ये इसको बाद में छोड़ना उनसे पूछ लीजिए ask them this and that, and so
Hmm.
all other states got their dues and Bengal was held back, and if you met the secretary he would say हाँ हम लोग तो देख रहे हैं, but you have not replied to our letters,
Hmm.
just cussedness on either side or both sides. This should disappear. So in a way, it's a good development. Mamta's period, I heard about the horror stories of how relations were soured up unnecessarily, and
Yes.
things got caught up, and both sides were responsible because the center also acted a bit immaturely in this. So now we expect these bottlenecks to be removed and normal relationships
Governance to be
established.
easy in a
Governance to be
sense.
easier.
To be easy.
And then I come back to my first point of industries. There's a hope that industries should move in. But there's a big catch to it. I'll tell you what the catch is. The catch is that industries don't move in because of double engine government. Uh,
Right.
uh, Industries move in for various other factors, work culture, many other factors. Because look at hostile states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, who are not on double engine mode. Even Telangana, Hyderabad, and others, they have prospered. They have not
Hmm.
allowed double engine to come in the way. Tamil Nadu is one of the highest industrialized states in India, despite having opposition governments all through. And So this logic is something that the Bengal voters didn't understand. That automatic double engine doesn't mean progress because all you have to do is to look at Eastern UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and others to understand what backwardness is. So it's not automatic
It
that
is not
because
going
you've
to
got
happen automatically.
that is what
Ah,
one thing that we have to
that is
understand.
something which we have to understand.
And employment opportunities are also created with a lot of effort. And if you take it, you will.
Okay.
So. Uh,
I would want to go back to, two very important political issues. One is, of course, that do you expect, I know that we will not be able to come to a, but in the event, let me frame it this way, that in the event of greater radicalization of the Hindutva idea and the people, trying to radicalize them more on Hindutva lines, which is obviously going to have some kind of an increased hostility with the Muslims. What do you think will be the effect of this kind of politics on the society of West Bengal?
Oh, that will be very, very harmful. Very, very harmful. Because 30% of the Muslim population, 27% of the Muslim population consists of a large, I mean, Bengalis you can't distinguish.
Hmm.
It's only a part of the BJP's narrative that it makes them look like Bangladeshis all the time. When they get, I have Bengali Muslims who have been in Malda Murshidabad for 10 generations, they have nothing but scorn for such feelings because they say, we are Khandani Musalmans and that sort of thing.
Yes,
Now, BJP under Suvendu Adhikari, who has just been declared as
yes,
the
as
chief
the
minister,
chief minister.
will be on aggression mode. With somebody else, like let us say Samik Bhattacharya, would be on reasonable mode. So the BJP headquarters, the central government and others have chosen somebody who will be able to push their agenda like Hemanta Biswa Sarma.
Yes, yes, exactly. The Bengali counterpart of Hemanta Biswa Sarma
Biswa
and
Sarma.
Yogi Adityanath.
Yogi Adityanath. Now, you must remember, Assam suffers from this terrible complex that if a head count were taken tomorrow
Hmm.
and everybody was given the truth pill, maybe the Bengali speakers would outnumber the Assamese.
Right,
And have this complex, and even if they are not outnumbered, they are very close to outnumbering them,
right.
which is a sad state for any
The,
state.
of
This is not. So they have this.
demographic changes over decades, which has happened.
They have this fear, but Bengal has no such motivating factor other than narrative and hatred. They have no such motivating factor. Irritating things like people have already started saying that don't hang up beef carcasses.
Hmm.
Now, beef carcasses are seen openly all over Bengal, and now they
Yes,
are saying that please cover them up.
okay.
I think that's reasonable. That's quite reasonable. Just like you would not like to have pigs strung up anywhere. So if meat or a particular thing appears unreasonable, so they'll start off with a few reasonable points and then move on to what I call the hardcore agenda. Hardcore
Which
agenda.
is
It
what?
may, number one, that we will examine all of you to see whether you are Bangladeshi. Number one.
So that
And uh,
detect, delete, deport. What
detective
the
report.
BJP says.
And anticipating that, the Home Minister of Bangladesh has issued a statement, don't you dare try that, yesterday.
Okay.
The Home Minister of Bangladesh has issued a statement, don't try these tricks with us. Okay? You keep your people, we keep our people. Now,
Hmm.
it's very interesting that while the Bangladeshi issues raised again and again, no Bangladeshis are paraded, if you notice. After the
Right.
6 month scorching from Kashmir to Kanyakumari last year, let us assume that 5,000 Bangladeshis were detected. They
A
would be
few,
there.
handful of them were sent back, but there were problems. Many
Ah,
of them you divided families. One woman went, she was
so, so,
pregnant. All those human interest
so now
stories
you
started
understand.
doing the
Now
round.
you understand what I'm saying. That the narrative is stronger than reality. Because if they
Okay.
really found them in Jharkhand, if you remember 4 years ago, Jharkhand election, that they're marrying
Yes.
Santali women and all that, they didn't find a single one. If they found somebody in Bihar, they would have been strung up from, mango trees and shown. They didn't find them. And then Operation Amit Shah last year, they went, if they found just a handful. And now Operation Ganesh Kumar, this time with Sir, if they
Mm.
really found a lot of people in the enumeration operation, in the revision operation, they'd have been all photographed and splashed all over.
Mm.
It's very clear. No? It serves their purpose to say that 50,000, 5,000, 10,000 Bangladeshis have been caught. So
Right.
part of it is either ineffectiveness or part of it is that it's not, as I said, the narrative is stronger than reality. But Shubhendu would like to make narrative and reality close together. So that's another witch
Okay.
hunt that we fear. And witch hunts in India for the last 14 for 12 years have gone without much reprisal, except in
Okay.
Kashmir, much reprisal. I am not sure what will happen in Bengal
Okay.
because the liberal chunk is with the Muslims. I mean,
Mm.
they would not like them houses to be burned, bulldozed, and all that. I'll go and
Right.
stand. I'm saying I'll go and stand there if it
Right.
happens. So Bengal is not a walkover for such policies, but Suvendu being what he is, and I know him for so many years, he would nevertheless push for the game and push for it because that heat keeps their cadre alive.
Right.
Without that, there's no reason for them to sort of be where they are. People voted for progress. They interpret it as a vote for communalism. I mean,
You don't
that's the
think that
way.
people voted on the basis of communalism?
No, not so much. Not so much. There was a little bit of disgust at Mamata's, what shall I say, playing around with the Muslim identity. And
Okay.
the interesting thing is the Muslims voted their least in the last four elections for Mamata Banerjee. When results come out from the Muslim belts, you'll understand that the Muslims voted for the left and the Congress. That is, they took away about 8% of the Muslim votes. So, which
Okay.
is a lot of, I
Which
mean,
is a
Mamata
lot.
lost by,
If it really turns out, then it is going to be
Mamata
very
lost by
indicative.
8. Because the Muslims said, you are using us, you're parading us, but how many schools have you set up? I'll give another example. 27% Muslims in Bengal, and the Bengal police at the lowest level, Sipai, lowest level, doesn't have more than 5 to 6%. If
Mhm.
Mamta was so keen about Muslims, instead of putting on the hijab and things like that, she could have simply put a target of 2% extra every year. And in 15 years, she would have made up for the quota and said, look, you are 27, I have reached
Right.
25%. So Sachar committee would be recognized, no special quotas, only special efforts. Giving Maulanas and Imams
Money.
subsidy and going and sharing iftar is not secularism, is not going to work. So the Muslims were, because I am on the social media and a lot of Muslims ticked me off every time I said something, saying that you are speaking like Mamata Banerjee. I said, okay,
Okay.
I get your point. I get your point. The youth in Bengal has played a big role, and this nobody is understanding. This came to our recognition eyes when I went on to debate in colleges and found that every time my opponent supported the BJP and made, in my humble opinion, a very silly comment, there'd be far more claps than if our side made a comment. So the youth,
Okay.
educated youth, were showing their favor. Now listen,
Why?
because 12 years of continuous propaganda will reach somewhere. They were 10 years old when the bearded man came to power. Okay. And now they are 22. And they've
Hmm.
heard only this. They have seen only his thing. Everything on earth that has happened, including the creation of the sun and the moon
Who
and
are you
everything that.
indicating? Who are you
Uh,
indicating by this
no, Mr.
bearded
Modi,
man?
Narendra Modi, Narendra
Okay.
Modi. So they are under the Narendra Modi spell. I
Okay.
mean, largely. And this goes for the educated and middle level youth. The lower level youth are angry with Mamata because she has not given jobs. Calcutta's employment of Bengali youth are Swiggy, Zomato, night guards, and such things.
Unfortunately, that's the same everywhere. But
Uh,
that
uh,
is
uh.
what they are not, youth in Bengal are not exposed to this.
So this sort of
So,
thing is being put on the Mamata government. It hurts. I'll tell you why. It hurts because the same youth see a toughie of the area, their age, who had joined the Trinamool Congress 4 years or 6 years ago,
hmm,
move from a shack or a shanty to build a three-storied house in their own mohalla. You
okay.
understand? So the combination of these
The
factors have.
people, yes,
So as I've said, the Muslims' enthusiasm has frayed down. Now they are very scared. The youth have, on both educated and uneducated, have largely voted for the
right,
BJP, and women also have shifted. And there are
right.
evidence of women shifting. So put together, that additional 8% that the BJP got can be explained.
Right. I want to ask you that Suvendu Adhikari now is going to be the Chief Minister of
Mm.
West Bengal. You have painted a fairly interesting profile of that man. Do you think him pursuing a lot of what we call as whistleblowing issues, uniform civil code, just the way that it has been there in some of the BJP ruled states? Do you see that being fast forwarded
Yes, yes,
in Bengal's
yes,
narrative? What impact
yes.
will it have?
Mm.
What impact
No,
will
no.
it have on society? Yeah, yeah,
Suvendu had this urge to prove himself to be more BJP than the BJP.
that's right.
Because the BJP is controlled by the RSS, and he was never an RSS product. In fact, he used to beat the hell out of RSS workers once upon a
Yes, when
time.
he was with TMC.
And he has to prove himself now that he's got his rewards and everything. So he will go in for dramatics and he will go in for unfair play. I have no doubt about that. Dramatics and unfair play means supposing the Eid is near, when Eid comes, we block the Red Road for the last 200 years and namaz is held. He says, no, no, you can't do it on the road. Or
Hmm.
a popular step that he might take, I've used the word popular purposely,
Popular
is
and populist.
popular is that there's an annoyance in Calcutta, even among strongly secular people, that azan is always carried over loudest of microphones.
Hmm.
So if you are in a apartment or several apartments nearby to a mosque, you stop talking for 5 minutes and people say, these fellows have started again. So
Hmm.
that nowhere in Islam is microphone mandatory in azan. So
It's a
Suvendu
way of
may,
marking presence.
ha, Suvendu may very well pick on this issue and gain popularity, gain
Right.
popularity. So some things like this, but basically I'm not talking of the soft, low-hanging fruit that he'll collect. I'm talking of Suvendu as a person who has always been on the extreme, who has always been brusque, and will carry out a brusque agenda. Now that is very good. That is very good. I'll tell you why it is very good.
Mhm.
A lot of fence sitters voted for the BJP,
Right.
and well-deserved defeat for Mamata Banerjee and her corruption.
Right.
And she decimated all other political parties like the left and the Congress and all that. So there was no alternative.
Right.
If the BJP indulges in excesses, I only hope it doesn't. If it indulges in excesses, then the realization of what the true form is will come early. Will come
Okay.
early. It'll be fast
So it will
forwarded.
be it will be counterproductive.
It'll
Hardline
be
pushing
uh,
hardline Hindutva
uh,
immediately will be
uh,
counterproductive to the
uh,
BJP.
correct, correct. That is the thing, and it makes better sense for him to be a little more accommodating. But it's not
Right.
in his nature. It's not in his nature. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what
We will
happens.
see. We will see what is going to
Mm,
happen. The BJP
mm,
knows the character of Suvendu
mm,
Adhikari very well, probably better than you and
mm,
I, yet they
mm,
have decided to go with him. So I know you have to leave for some other
mm.
meeting. These are very heavy and busy days for you. Thank you very much for coming and shedding some amount of light on the roadmap ahead. We have not been able to see the full thing yet, but over the next few months, we do intend to come and speak to you as to how the first ever and the almost unimaginable BJP government, how it progresses in West Bengal. Thank you very much again, Mr.
Thank,
Jawahar
thank,
Sarkar.
thank you. Thank you.